Welcome back to Buying Sandlot. Today we're talking with Matt LaPorta and TJ Candella. Matt is a former MLB Big Leaguer turned investor, and TJ is the CEO of Dirty Mids, one of the fastest growing sports apparel lifestyle brands, famous for their mid-calf baseball pants, sliding mitts, and other accessories. Recently, LaPorta's Wayfinder Capital, an optimal investment group, invested in Dirty Mids. On this episode, we discuss the seven-figure baseball pants, the business opportunities around drip, what convinced Matt to invest, softball's untapped market, and why they believe the next generation of players wants a brand they can wear both on and off the field. But before we get into that, we want to thank Black Magic Design for sponsoring the show. Recently, every kick, phase, scrum, and try at this year's Tropical Sevens Youth Rugby Tournament was streamed thanks to Black Magic Design. That included 250 plus teams and 750 plus matches across 15 fields and 1.2 million square feet. Over 4 days of frenetic action streamed live in its entirety at a level not previously seen in the sport. That included their Mini Extreme and Mini Pro switchers and converters for multi-camera streaming and their DaVinci Resolve replay and post-production solutions. Everyone who watches youth sports, from athletes, parents, and grandparents, coaches, college recruiters, has come to expect streaming that looks and sounds professional. Blackmagic Design can deliver just that for your club, event, facility, or school. Their suite of affordable products are the same high quality as those used by professional sports teams and in Hollywood, delivering easy-to-learn multi-cam streaming that open new revenue streams. For more information, visit Blackmagic Design. And now, let's get into the episode. Matt LaPorta and TJ Candella, thanks for joining Buying Sandlot. TJ, I'll throw it to you first. Fresh off of strategic investment from Matt's Wayfinder Capital and Optimal Investment Group about close to a month ago, give the audience a quick elevator pitch of what Dirty Mids is.
Awesome. So excited to talk about Dirty Mids. Dirty Mids is all the rage at the moment. So we've developed a brand over here that completely connects with the youth athlete. So we're all about providing a suite of products and a home for kids in the youth sports, primarily baseball, that give them, a set of products that really allow them to express themselves on and off the baseball field. So when we kind of analyze the market and, assess Dirty Mids' fit within that market, it's all about providing a platform where these kids can and these athletes can go out and pick products and really exude their confidence, their athleticism, and really individuality in a sport that they love, that they pour everything that they have into. Dirty Mids is all about providing a complete experience both on and off the field for these athletes.
Matt, maybe talk a little bit about what stood out to you about Dirty Mids, why you guys wanted to invest. What do you love about the business?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show. Really, what excited me, it was a great entry point into youth baseball. Obviously, given my background, being a baseball player, I've always wanted to participate on the youth side, and this was a great opportunity for that. Why Dirty Mids? They're filling a hole in the marketplace, right? Where there's probably only one or two-ish competitors out there that are really doing the baseball off-field and non-equipment approach, right? Like it's going to be really hard for us to go out and compete with a Marucci, as much as I'd love to go out there and be like, hey, let's go do wood or aluminum bats and batting gloves. I mean, you got Bruce Bolt out there. I mean, we're not going to necessarily compete with them. We're going to grow a brand that when the athlete is walking in the airport, everybody knows they're a baseball player. Or as we evolve, we're going to say everyone knows she's a softball player, right? Because of the gear, the swag that we have kind of off the field, along with our pants. Great technology there. Some really cool stuff we're working on the softball side as well. So there's a lot of green space, if you will, for us and opportunity. And it's a great young brand. I mean, TJ's done a fantastic job of growing it. And, I think with kind of the baseball background, we've got a nice opportunity here to create a real authentic brand out there.
Yeah, it definitely seems to fit in this drip trend in baseball that certainly it's capitalizing on. I know there's a couple of other brands out there that do it. As the father of 10 and 7-year-old boys who are both playing baseball, I can TJ, I can give you a testimonial right here about at least the necklaces. My kids wear these things to death. They wear them to school, they wear them to baseball. They wear 2 or 3 at a time. They rip them over their hat. They don't break. So I can attest to the quality. But also, again, I had a parent said to me a couple of weeks ago, we were actually at the home run derby, and the kids were playing wiffle ball at the outside in the outfield at Citizens Bank Park. And I took a picture, and someone's like, "All of these kids look the same. They all have the same shorts. They all have the same necklaces, right?" Like
Yeah.
this is, I mean, this is so omnipresent for kids who are involved in baseball. They're all really buying into the culture, and it's a sport that kind of suppressed culture for a long time. So TJ, maybe talk about what you saw when you started Dirty Mids, the opportunity. And Matt, you said the green space. Basketball's long been a culture sport, but baseball, other than like very niche pockets, didn't have this sort of like lifestyle, these sort of lifestyle brand opportunities until the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
spot on, and that really was what we were initially targeting. The idea behind Dirty Mids was a big one. We view every baseball athlete, and I've got several kids that played baseball at multiple levels. So I mean, I've traveled this country over and over again. I've seen the best of the best. Had an amazing time doing it. But really, the observation was both in my house and across the entire country was a baseball player is a baseball player 24/7. It's a pure form of identity, whether they're 5 years old, 15 years old. When these kids pour themselves into this sport, I mean, they're giving up everything, their free time, everything is poured into this sport, which is amazing. That's why the sport's so fantastic and the talent's so good. But really, what the observation was, hey, these kids want live, breathe, die baseball, but they don't have the correct items. They don't have the correct swag. They don't have the correct, all of those different things. It wasn't being catered to them. It's almost like legacy kind of left it behind. It hadn't had a lot of innovation in quite some time. So the concept was to provide that big league energy, that swag, that confidence from a brand with authenticity built from the ground up to cater to these kids, to provide them resources and access to something that achieved that goal of giving them identity, expression, confidence, athleticism. So the swag is amazing, the apparel's amazing, and it's not baseball players these days, they want to be known as a baseball player at all aspects, whether that's walking into dinner, walking into school, walking between the lines, wherever they're at, they like to let it known that they're a baseball player at heart. So really harnessing that energy and trying to provide every youth baseball player with a little bit of big league energy, a little bit of swag and confidence you see from some of these highly influential baseball players, even at the biggest stage. They stand out, they have presence, they have a vibe and personality, and these kids see that. And we, through Dirty Mids, give them an opportunity to kind of embrace some of that. And so every decision we make, every product we develop, it's all about providing that outlet to them to achieve that big league energy, that confidence, that athleticism. That's what we're all about here.
Matt, you, I think, mentioned the pants a second ago. Talk a little bit maybe about the product mix, where the brand is strongest. And I think I saw in your press release, or when we covered it, did I read it right? It was 7 figures in just in pants sales in the first year. If so, like what makes the pants different? And is that the standout product?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pants are, they're a trendy pair of pants. Like if you look, and they're more tailored, right? A little more custom fit looking. You look at your Bryce Harpers, of the world, those type of players. That's the fit that we're providing to the youth athlete. Again, who doesn't want to look like a Bryce Harper or, a Connor Griffin, like guys like that, right? That's what those pants kind of can reflect. And the marketplace they have pants out there, but again, it's like kind of a one size fits all. They're either real baggy or they're not. And so I think what Dirty Mids has done a nice job at finding a niche, creating a space that wasn't really existing in the past.
Yeah, if you don't mind, the pants are obviously huge. So as we thought about moving into this space, we knew that there was an opportunity to create a brand, an authentic brand that would resonate with these kids. And it's hard to gain authenticity with, this youth group, right? They see everything, they judge everything. So you can't just come on the scene and say, hey, we're relevant, we're the brand you should follow. So it's really was identifying like an entry point into this space to gain the credibility and the authenticity with the youth market. And kind of through observation, we were looking for that product. What was that foot in the door to gain the trust and acceptance of the youth market? And it just kind of dawned on us over here going, there hasn't been a lot of innovation or improvement on the baseball uniform in quite some time, right? They're still wearing baseball pants styles that are, pretty antiquated at that point. There hasn't been a lot of innovation in the space. The jerseys had improved, colorways had improved, hats had improved, but 50% of the uniform had kind of gone neglected. So, in traveling and watching youth baseball, like I said, at multiple levels, you kind of saw a bunch of youth athletes out there that didn't look like they were fitted very well. Their pants made them look they didn't look as athletic as other kids in other sports. They didn't look as put together. And in a sport like baseball, where every kid's playing to get noticed, right? As you advance in your baseball career, you're looking for this set of coaches or this recruiter or whatever. It's all about how you look. And kind of sitting there watching baseball play, you look out on the field and go, why do they not look put together? Why don't they look as athletic? And so really that was the light bulb moment where we go, hey, if we can innovate and create a pair of pants that capture a style that makes the athlete look more athletic, more put together, they have eyeballs on them and they're going to look the part. So we spent quite a bit of time, working on that pant style, multiple rounds of iterations until we arrived at the fit that we were looking to achieve to provide like a more custom tailored fitted look, but off the shelf, right? So that was a challenging task to achieve, but I think we executed on it pretty well. And those pants, to reference your figures, the market was clearly looking for that because upon launch, with the appropriate advertising and education, we were able to, get a foothold pretty quickly. And that was certainly the beginning of Dirty Mids for sure.
I'm nodding along laughing because as a skinny guy in high school, there was no amount of leg day I could do to not have like super baggy. I needed to
Yeah.
but
Well,
like
our
just
pants
swimming
are
in
going to
those
make you
things.
look good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull them
that's
up
true.
like Juan Pierre style, and then they'd be all baggy. I can never get it right.
Yeah.
For sure. No,
And that's the niche that we're filling, right? Like that's the niche. I mean, the pants don't fit everybody. They're not, I've got two twin boys. They're 12 years old. One's 165 pounds, and the pants would fit. He's 85, right? He's a fit, lean kid. Like, but my big boy's not fitting in them probably. But again, that it's not for the pants aren't going to fit everybody, but they're a great pant. And to your point, right, there's no leg days that you can do to get in the past to get the right pants to fit. These pants will fit you.
Yeah, 100%. The jogger trend has completely upended my life for the good in the fashion industry. So if that ever goes away, I'm screwed.
there you go. Well, the pants were critical to the development of Dirty Mids, and we really started with a really simple task. The task was, can we take a product that every single kid who plays baseball has to have, meaning they need to have them. Can we turn that into something that they actually wanted to buy? Has anybody made a pair of baseball pants that a youth athlete would beg their mom to go buy because the fit was what they were looking for, the style, the vibe, and everything behind it, the confidence, the swag? That was a really difficult equation to put out there to see if we could solve, but I think we've done a pretty good job creating a pair of pants that really moved the market and speaks to these kids. They put these pants on and they feel a little bit more confident. And there's something to say about that, right? We want them looking good, playing good, and feeling good. We want to do everything we can over here to keep the sport exciting. Baseball's an amazing sport, certainly an acquired taste for a lot of people, but anything we can do to inject excitement and continued participation in the sport and growth of the sport in general, if we can be a small part of that, I think we're achieving stuff beyond selling product, right? We love the game and we want to do our small part to continue to promote it and make it successful. So baseball needs more excitement, and I think we're doing a lot to help foster some of that. So
Yeah, that was a good use of the Dion quote right there. You look good, you feel good, you feel good, you play good, you play good. They pay good.
yeah,
How do
yeah,
you?
cliche, but there's truth, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's why it's still uttered, 30, 40 years later. How do you continue to stay authentic and ahead of the fashion cycle? What's drip today might not look what's drip in 3 years. It might look dated in 3 years. Like, how do you continue to
Yeah,
be the trend creator instead of simply responding to the trends like you were talking about, like antiquated baseball can become, and some of the brands that have, not been at
absolutely.
that fashion cycle?
Yeah, it's an incredibly important aspect of what we do here, but really it's about observation, right? So it's about having an army behind you, observing what's going on and taking in and looking for the developments, the seeds of a trend, the start of something that can be turned into something. And we're constantly monitoring to determine what's out there, who's doing what. There's some highly influential people at the highest stages of baseball that serve as a good resource to see which directions that they're going. And then, of course, it's our responsibility to create something within that space that provides a similar, vibe or appearance that, but can be mass marketed at a price point that the youth athlete can supply. Because a lot of things on the drip side, the professional athletes' budget's not an issue, right? So our job is to take that, but really the authenticity and the connection to our tribe, like we like to call it, that grows by the day, right? So we've got incredible growth and incredible trust from our customer base, is really just making sure that we continue to deliver authentic, cool products, have no missteps, but really the big piece is I think that trust and our place within the market gives us the ability to not follow trends but create them, right? So that's the most important piece. As long as we continue to do our jobs by delivering authentic, cool products, we can help shape where those trends are going. And that's the part that excites us most. So that's a big part of where the brand has been fortunate enough and blessed enough to arrive at, is we believe that we're in a position to help create the trends as opposed to follow them. So
Matt, Matt, how do you guys, when you look at a business like this, like how do you underwrite the total opportunity here, right? I think Dirty Mids is in Dick's, right? So part of it is distribution. You kind of move from just B2C on the website to being in Dick's stores. How how much bigger can the opportunity get in kind of these lifestyle brands around a particular sport? Um, we had Rob Ponder on from Perfect Game earlier this week, and he's been on the podcast before, and he's talked about how they're trying to build the Jordan brand of baseball, like super lofty goals. How do you guys think about building these lifestyle brands? How large is the total opportunity? Does the TAM keep growing as more kids, kind of think about expressing themselves outside of the game? Like what's maybe the investment thesis, but behind the size and scale and how much capital can help?
Yeah, great question. This youth sports opportunity it seems like it's ever growing, right? It's a $40 billion, industry right now. And obviously it's going to be trimmed down for baseball and softball. But how we think about it is really as we grow, we really want to be more than just kind of the brand that you're wearing off the field. Like we want parents and families to come to us. Again, this is that authenticity piece that we have that we can start to layer in real baseball talk, right? Like we've got a good ecosystem of guys that know the game, play the game at a very high level and can talk about real things in baseball that we're just sharing kind of this free information with folks. And as we look to continue to grow, and we're going to have, TJ and the team are going to have to do a good job of evolving and what's the new trend, like keeping up with everything. That's going to be really important. But I think as this kind of vertical in the space of baseball and sports, more and more kids are going to start wanting to wear this type of stuff. I mean, it's catching on. You've got other groups doing the similar thing, and so it's just another way for baseball players to express themselves. And then adding to that, there's an untapped market that nobody's really done a great job with, which is softball. And that's another market that we're going to attack where we could see the business continue to grow.
Yeah, women's sports in general and softball in particular, like huge growth. I've thought about like these brands, particularly in baseball, is almost bottoms up, right? It used to be top down. You'd see Ken Griffey Jr. wearing something, everyone would go buy the sneakers. This kind of culture trend in baseball almost feels like it sort of started at the travel and the club level and is now percolated up to MLB. You'll see the younger players are wearing the Bruce Bolt batting gloves, right? They're wearing the bright colors, right? And maybe Bryce Harper was an outlier there, but now it's like the young guys coming up. So do you see, as players who kind of came through this now as teenagers begin to turn pro, and you see more and more of it in the MLB, like it's almost a self-perpetuating cycle and just more marketing for this space. And Matt, you played in the majors. I know there's lots of hardened baseball guys and gals out there who see this stuff and they're like, I don't need batting gloves, just give me my Franklins or whatever. Like, they hate this stuff. So how does it just sort of push out like the old guard in baseball as more and more of these players come up and start looking this way on the field?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that change isn't always a bad thing, right? The game evolves, all sports evolve. There are certain things that I don't love. I see that are on the field. Like, again, I'm fine with expression, and I think that's what we've created as a brand of expression. But what sometimes I struggle with when I see kids wearing sliding mitts when they're playing defense. Right. I'm okay with you having the sliding mitt. Have the sliding mitt. Use it. It's a great tool. But when you're playing defense, you don't need it. I don't need to see it in your back pocket. Like, to me, that's one of the biggest things that I see.
I'm going to show that clip to my son next time he's at shortstop with the
yeah. Like, dude, what are we doing? I mean, I had a conversation with one of our catchers. I was like, what are you doing? You're the catcher. You're not stealing bases. B, you're catching right now. You don't need the sliding mitt. Take it out. So, but other than that, I mean, I think that the game has evolved in a little. Some players, that's just how they express themselves, right? I mean, you look at like a Jazz Chisholm or the Mookie Betts, or And I will say, I think the Latin community, Latin culture has expressed themselves more in the past than kind of the American player. And I think now it's the American players, it's catching up with them. And so I think it's a fun time in baseball. I think you got to have some guidelines and guardrails around it, right? You can't have Jazz Chisholm sucking on lollipops at second base. I think that's a little bit too much of an expression. But again, the chains and the pants and kind of some of that drip, like, hey man, if you think it makes you play better, use it.
Yeah, and I think overall, I think it's to be kind of being embraced at all levels, right? Because it goes back to the injecting excitement into the sport. It's all about eyeballs, participation, engagement, and what brings people into the sport's different things. But it's awesome to see the kids on the field looking like little big leaguers, feeling like big leaguers, and just emanating confidence all over the place. They put some of this stuff on and you can just see them light up, right? So that's what the sport needs. I think that's just what's needed overall. People need to feel good, right? So we've got an amazing suite of products at really accessible price points so that nobody's excluded and they can all get that experience, right? So that's really key to our objectives, is making sure that we have accessibility and that we're doing everything we can to make the sport exciting. And I believe at all levels, more excitement in the sport's good for everybody, whether they support it, wear it or not. It's still creating energy and buzz around the sport, which everybody should unanimously want to continue to see that grow. So I think we have more support than we think.
I was while Matt was talking, I was looking at an old picture of Matt LaPorta at the plate. Two batting gloves. The farthest you went was maybe an Under Armour long sleeve shirt. That's really it. Yeah.
I would. Again, I mean, I'll take a step back. I mean, I used to wear, when I played, I had a big chain, big gold chain with a big cross and a diamond in it.
Oh, geez. I'd
have the wrist tape on one arm, the sleeve on the other. Like, I would, but that was probably as far as I would go. But I mean, I guess there's not much more you could do on the baseball field. But I didn't have 5 chains on like some of the guys.
Matt's been an incredible believer. So whether he would have worn it or not, he certainly supports everything that's going on here, and he's obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've got my 30 mids on right now.
There you go. You're ready to go. So
yeah, this is the picture.
Let's
here.
not use this one. I just got called probably strike 3.
Thinking back on it, ABS system was probably out of the zone.
Yeah. I was tapping twice. My head. Come on.
You would have been on first. But yeah, that's the picture I was looking at. So that's as drippy as you got sometimes without the chain.
Yeah, the chain's just probably buried underneath. I mean, I didn't usually wear it out all the time, but
no, I love it. Going back to the drip opportunity, what's you Matt? You touched on the Dominican players, Venezuelan players. They are they like the drip. Where's the international opportunity? Other places like Japan or other hotbeds. What's the drip opportunity look like internationally? Either one of you could take that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in and then TJ can fill in anything I miss. But I think there's a big opportunity. Japan, Korea, Europe. Europe. I mean, I've talked with the guys over at Francisco Cervelli's team and academy over there, and I think there's a big opportunity. Especially as more American teams are scouting over in these countries to sign young players at 15 years old or whatever. I think that there's an opportunity to really infiltrate some of those other countries with baseball, and because those guys obviously are playing baseball because they've seen what we do here in America and they want to play American baseball, right? And so what's the next step before they get to the American baseball, right? Well, we can dress like the kids in American baseball here.
Yeah.
Good, TJ.
So I'd say completely unbelievable territory to be tackling. And a lot of the reasons that when we looked for our partnership and we were looking for the right group to help us take that next step, international was a big component of that. The inbound reach has been pretty exceptional. So it's just navigating that process. We've dabbled in it. We, through Canada and Puerto Rico and the Dominican, but we're just scratching the surface. So I can tell you with certainty that the demand is there, and it's just the execution and the distribution and all the stuff that goes into catering at a mass scale to those markets. But we have every indication based on inbound efforts that it's certainly there. So huge growth opportunity, and one that we're in the process of tackling right now. So huge.
Yeah. And just to touch on that, I got 2 more for you guys, and then I'll let you go. You're already in Dick's Sporting Goods. Academy Sports is talking about you being an important brand that's part of their next 5-year plan. Maybe talk about some of the challenges you guys were experiencing, maybe in wholesale, maybe somewhere else, whether it was like inventory planning or getting into different retail chains. That now this new strategic investment kind of opens up. Anywhere you want to take it on the challenges side.
Yeah, challenges. I'd say the ongoing challenge would probably have just been keeping up with demand, right? So we have experienced hockey stick style growth, right? So it's been pedal to the metal for over 3 years now. So what we thought at any given moment, what we thought was enough inventory, what we thought was enough space to spread out the inventory and work distribution, we're always chasing, but it's a good chase, right? So we continue to beat expectations. So the strategic side of considering the partnership like we've created here has been that we will have capabilities that we didn't have before to be a little bit more aggressive in our demand planning and our inventory buys and those types of all of those areas of the business, so that we never have out of stock issues, right? So we never want a kid to come in and say like, hey, when is this coming back? We want to be available at all times to everybody that wants it. So we have our D2C demand, and then the development and the growth that we're seeing on the B2B side. It's levers being pulled in both directions. So balancing all of that out through a young growing company is a lot of those types of obstacles were reasons that led us to Matt and his investment group, because there's some experience there that we personally didn't have, right? And there's some shared services available. So there's human capital, and then of course there's financial capital, and all of those things will help make sure that we can continue to cater to the growth. We don't want to slow the momentum down for sure. So certainly some challenges, but a lot of them good. And B2B's been amazing. Our partners are wonderful to work with. The response has been really good. We're launching in I think 285 Dunham Sports here in the next few days. So we're extremely excited about that. So the store count's growing, the product lines are growing, the conversations are evolving where it's more collaborative and not just what are you selling, but hey, we see opportunities here. We'd like you to kind of push in this direction because we think that our customer would really like to see these products from Dirty Mid. So really the idea from not being in big retail to having meetings and conversations about kind of collaborating on development of products is a pretty exciting moment. So it gives us a lot of opportunity to believe that we're on a really good path for a bright future on the retail side. The response has been great. So
One more for me. The media layer side. What are the plans around building out more of the media layer, original content, and I'm sure creator partnerships. I've seen you do stuff with Coach Rack before. A lot of your Instagram is user generated or photos that you've grabbed from tournaments of kids wearing your stuff and everything. What's the strategy around the media layer look like if there is one going forward?
yeah, I'll jump in and then Matt might want to take it, but I'd say just one more piece. Matt's connections and his connective tissue to MLB baseball, a lot, and his resources, a lot of that factored into as this being the right partnership for us. So we've explored and had some success with lots of cool collaborations with different influential people as we create those media layers. But there were some doors we couldn't open, right? So Matt, in very short order, has opened up some doors that we thought might not be accessible to us. And really internally, prior to the partnership forming, it was, a lot of analysis of what are they actually going to be able to do. I can say they've delivered big time with regards to blowing doors open for opportunities that we didn't think that we would have. So we're extremely excited about what that media layering looks like and the content that's going to be coming out shortly. And I think having Matt on board and kind of has been a huge, huge opportunity, and we plan to really take advantage of it. But go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned earlier, like we're looking and targeting somebody that really can kind of focus on the Dirty Mids media channel, if you will, right? And that means get talking about different players' swings. Why are they changing and doing this? Like giving the backstory of different players. We might do something where we have young youth players come on a channel and talk about like, what is it like being a 13, 14, 15-year-old baseball player? What was Cooperstown like at 12U? Like really, again, creating that value that we can give to players and parents. That's my goal. Again, I go back to the authenticity. Like we have a channel that, and we have an opportunity to make an impact, I think, in a lot of kids and players' lives that, we can provide kind of behind the curtain scenes of what it's like to be a real big leaguer, right? What it's like to think about hitting. So start thinking about how do we, we're going to, I don't think we'll be this big, but what does it look like to be like how the guys break down the MLB channel, how they break down the players' swings or pitchers. Like that's the kind of stuff that I think we're going to evolve into on the media side. That, again, just creating free value for a lot of our fans and a lot of our customers.
Well, fellas, thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations again on the strategic investment, TJ and Matt, getting into the youth sports space and everything with Optimal. Good luck with everything. Obviously, anything that comes down the line, feel free to reach out, and we're looking forward to seeing how you guys progress and seeing Dirty Mids grow more.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the time. Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks,
man.
guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. You guys are killing it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I love the show.
Bring some Dirty Mids to the summit next year.
There you go. Okay, done deal.